Welcome to the Manifest Your Man, how to find, attract, and keep a high quality man. I am so excited to bring you an amazing expert and speaker today. Raeeka is an award-winning dating blogger, Amazon bestseller, and the founder of Dating with Confidence. She is known for her unique, irresistible woman method. She mentors driven, successful single women on how to navigate dating and relationships to create a fulfilling, healthy, and passion-filled love life through a customized strategy that feels authentic and empowering to them. Her approachable and compassionate personality, along with her vast knowledge of modern dating and relationships, combined with her powerful coaching ability, make her a highly sought after mentor. She's an avid advocate of love education, which is strongly missing from the traditional academic system, as well as women empowerment. I am so excited to have you here with us today. Welcome to the online show.
Thank you for having me. What an honor to be a part of this
Yeah.
wonderful show and program that you're putting out. How needed is this?
Yes, absolutely. And we have an amazing topic to talk about today. The topic is going to be how to use your feminine energy to attract high caliber men without coming across as a damsel in distress or clingy or weak. I love that because I think that's exactly what we need to hear today. We need to hear all the juicy details.
Right.
So I'd love to dig right in and just get started and pick your brain about this topic because I feel like our audience really needs to hear this
Right.
because we have a lot of professional, very intelligent single women in this online summit. And this is one of the keys to finding that high quality man and keeping him and attracting him, all the good things that we're talking about today.
Right.
So I'd love to dig in and just start asking you some questions about this topic. Why do some very successful women have a hard time finding love? I see this very often as a matchmaker. I work with very successful women and they have trouble. Everything else in life they have, they have the world, they have their career, but it's hard for them to find love.
Really, I love that. Yeah, I mean, I don't love that that's happening, but I love that we are as love coaches and experts in the love and relationship field, noticing that so that we can provide support for them. I have to be honest with you. I was one of those women, and and if you leave me to my own how do they say it in English? My vices, or like leave me to my own devices.
Yes.
You know, I will, that's my tendency to totally just, you know, push men out. And so let's talk about that. First of all, number one thing to put it out there is nothing wrong with you, smart, successful, educated women. Good for you for being empowered. Good for you for being educated. Good for you for being independent. Good for you for being financially secure and going up the career ladder, whatever that is for you, whether you're in corporate or whether you do your own work like, you know, Amanda and I do. So I just want to make sure that when you hear us talking, you don't feel like, gosh, what is wrong with me? Or they're telling me something is wrong with me, because there's nothing wrong with you. Um, we still live in a society that men rule. We still live in a patriarchal society, not just in America, all over the world. The mentality of men taking over and being stronger is not something that's just happening in the US or in my birth country, Iran, or, you know, or Europe. It's all over the place. And because women, we haven't really, you know, we're still fighting for our voices to be heard, for our positions to be equal, to get paid equally. What do? We have learned to harden. We've learned to pull up our big girl pants and shove those feelings down, shove that nurturing part of us down. God forbid you would probably even look like this going to work. We wear suits a lot of time. And you go out there and you're competing with men so that you can be taken seriously. I don't want to say that that's not improving, but that's the reality of where we still are in 2022. And because of that, we put on this, you know, we show up like a man, like we call it. Now, what's really happening is that we're not showing up like a man because any human has a combination of two energies, feminine energy and masculine energy. And please don't shoot the messenger because I know many, many of you smart, strong women um, don't like that name. And guess what? Me neither. I don't like that we call it feminine and masculine based on my experiences as living in a society where men ruled, even more than here in the US. So, but that's what it's called. So let's just put that aside and get to the core of what this is. I just want to let you know that I hear you and I understand why you might get upset with the name. So, any human being, man or woman, and whatever sexual orientation you have, has both energies, the masculine and the feminine. That's like the yin and the yang, like the dark and the bright. And, the feminine energy very often, well, so let me first say what it is like. Feminine energy is nurturing, trusting, self trust, being rather than doing, meaning I can trust that sometimes by just sitting in the uncomfortable circle of unknown, is he going to call me? Is this going to work? Is this going to happen? Am I going to get that raise? You know, are my kids going to be fine? Is this surgery going to work? Is he going to turn out to be the right man? Is he going to cheat on me? Where is he right now? Whatever that unknown territory is, sitting with it rather than needing to let me go check my text 600 times, or let me text him and see where he is, or let's have a conversation about it right away. Let's react rather than sit and respond and see what's actually going on inside me. What am I feeling? That is the feminine energy of trusting that, you know what, I feel so uncomfortable right now. The mere fact of just going on a date can be that process, like for your first date, when you want to meet him for the first time and you don't know what's going to happen. Is he going to show up right? Is this going to be, one more date that's not going to go anywhere? All of that discomfort, the energy that's needed for that, it's that trust that, you know what, I can be with this very uncomfortable feeling and just trust that what's right is going to happen, and trust myself that I will show up at the best energy that I can. That's an example of feminine energy. Masculine energy is the energy of doing, writing the checks for your bills, or right now doing it online, going to work on time, showing up to your appointment on time, being your word. When you say you're going to do something, you do it, leading people, right? And that is what the kind of like protecting ourselves, our need to be right, right? Um, all of that is examples of masculine energy, right? When we are at work, and with the way that, for many, many, many years, we have been told what to do and our rights have been taken away from us, what have we learned as women? To fight for ourselves, to fight for our voices, whether it's at work or at home, right? So we go to work, we crush it, we do great. We are excelling, in our academics. We are excelling at work. We're excelling it with money and our lifestyle. But then we come, the day is over at work. We come to sit at a date and we bring the same energy. Is he the right guy? We have a checklist. And don't tell me you don't, ladies, because I know you do. We have a checklist because that's what our academic system has taught us, to have a checklist, right? Does he do this? Is he showing up this way? Does he dress well? Does he make enough money? What's his education? Can I trust him? Check, check, not check, 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 not check. That's that masculine energy. And guess what? That masculine energy comes across and is experienced as you being distant, as you being unavailable, as you being hardened, as you being maybe not interested. And not all of this altogether, but these are the different ways in which that could be experienced. And guess what? This is the same for the man. If the man shows up with the same energy of like, well, how's your day going? You don't like it, right? You would much more prefer to say, well, it's so nice to meet you. Thank you for giving me your time to be on this date with me. That's his feminine energy showing up. So that is the biggest, all this long story short, that's the biggest reason why women like us, who have worked so hard all their life to be someone and are doing really well and are very successful, cannot figure out this one piece of their life, their love life. Because guess what? Your love life is not going to operate on masculine energy. Your love life's core energy for both you and the man needs to be that feminine energy, and specifically needs to be the vulnerability piece. Because guess what? Without vulnerability, there is no intimacy. And a relationship does not survive if there is no intimacy. I hope that makes sense.
Lily, that was so good. And I see that a lot, including with myself, because I grew up like my mom was like, you don't need a man, take care of yourself. And so we're constantly trying to achieve, and we get into that masculine energy. I get into it with my business, and I had to learn how to kind of lean back and let it go when I'm with my husband. And
Right.
it's hard to tune into that when we want to achieve things, and it's at the top of our list, and we get into that that masculine
Yeah.
just routine, and it's hard to let it go in a relationship and with that man, to let him be the masculine and us to step back into that feminine and lean back and trust. I think was one of the hardest things for me to do.
So, so, so agree with you. And it is for me too. I remember, um, when I'm with, my partner, he sometimes will tell me, he's like, can you just stop acting so bossy? Like, we're not at work right now. It's like, whoa, yeah, right.
Yeah, I know. And I think, and sometimes even as like women, we as children, I was known to be very bossy as a young girl. And so I was super bossy. So I've had to learn how, and you have this, people say negative things about it, but it's about learning how to tune into it and in the right way, and not bring it into your relationship so much. But it's great at work.
Right, right.
Yeah.
There is a huge difference between being bossy and forceful and actually making requests
Mm.
and asking for your needs, you know?
Yes.
So there is, I think maybe some of you listening are like, well, but I don't want to be weak. I don't want to be walked all over. And this is the misconception that is out there, is that being, first of all, it goes back to, female and male, and then connecting feminine and masculine energy to it. It's all very connected. But, if we put all that kind of like social stuff aside, which is very important to understand where this all comes from. But regardless, this is your love life. Now you can, sit and fight for all of this, which we should. We should in its own place. But when you're going on a date, or when you want to create your love life, you got to understand that unlike what we have been taught, that female and feminine means weak, even though they have nothing to do with each other, feminine energy is by far harder to show up as because of the level of strength it takes to actually sit at a date. I remember when I was first dating Tim, he said, I'm scared. And I said, me too. And I remember that just made me fall in love with him so much more because um, I felt like, wow, how powerful that that this man can tell me that he's scared of getting hurt, and that I was able to say, me too. Let's be scared together. And I, I think that there is so much strength in being able to actually articulate our feelings rather than shoving it down and putting this exterior that we're strong, I don't need a man, boxing gloves, or hiding. Or for many women, and if you're on this call, if you're listening to this show, that means deep down you really, really do want to find love, even though on the front you tell your friends, you know what, I'm good by myself, I'm totally fine. That's not true. Otherwise, you wouldn't waste your time being on this show. So let's be honest about it. And it takes strength to say, you know, gosh, I really want to find love. I'm so scared of this first date, or I really like this man and I don't know if it's going to go well, but I'm just going to put myself out there because I would rather know that I tried rather than not. That is so strong. So
Absolutely.
feminine doesn't mean weak. Feminine means so much, so much strength. It's much easier to cross lists off or tell people what to do or shove our feelings down. We don't know how to do that.
Absolutely. And I think when we step into that, men are more open with us. They're more willing to share their feelings and really lean into the relationship and want that relationship. It attracts men to you when you can step into
It's
that.
3 o'clock.
That is my computer.
It's just reminding us of the time.
It's 3 o'clock.
Thank you, computer. Yeah, I think that, yeah, we can, that raises our level of attraction too, when we can step back and into the feminine and let men open up to us. I think they feel more comfortable, they can be themselves. They're not, like your partner said, he's scared, he admitted that to you. And I know that's hard for a man to do. So he felt that feminine energy from you to be able to open up like that. So I
Mhm,
think that's super important.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah. Being vulnerable takes an incredible amount of courage and bravery,
Yes.
you know? And it's through those moments of vulnerability with ourselves first and foremost, that the truth always comes out,
Mm-hmm.
you know, whether he's right or wrong comes out. Um, I, I haven't talked about this much, but I think that this, just because it can be helpful, maybe I'll just share it. And I've only shared it on one other platform, is that, you know, I have been going through a separation with my partner,
Mm-hmm.
and it took, we're trying to work things out, but it's been about a year and a half that we are separated from each other and in different states, and it's been unbelievably painful, and difficult. And I, as a love coach, felt like I'm a fraud. I don't take what it I don't have what it takes to do this work, or um, who am I to be, coaching women how to find love. And it felt so exposed. I felt like such a fraud, just because this part of my life that I teach other women find and create has been, crumbling and shattering, and or shattered. And I never thought we would be here after 10 years. And it's really recently where I have learned that the strength is to share that, is to be saying, you know what? That's part of our story too. And it feels so weird because I have I've lived in a war, Amanda, for 8 years. I've seen a revolution. I've had, you know, I've lost friends in the war, but nothing has been more difficult than this big question mark of not knowing where my personal life is going to be. And that is strong, to be able to sit with that and know that I will be okay. Everything will be fine, and I still can help people. So I'm telling you, ladies, this because I would be curious to see how many of you are actually going to connect with this story more and will see the truth rather than this facade that we put out there.
Yeah.
That's vulnerability, that's strength, that's honesty. And that is human connection. And I really hope that you were able to experience that through this.
Yeah, thank you for being so open and authentic. And because I think that's where the true connection takes place. And the truth is, every relationship has its ups and downs. No relationship is perfect. My marriage isn't perfect,
Yeah.
but it's about growth and about that strength. I do believe every time you experience something like that, you get stronger and you grow in your relationship. If that relationship continues, it gets stronger when you
Yes.
go through those ups and downs. So this is real life. We've we've all been there. Probably everybody in this audience has probably been in a situation where you're not sure, but you always come out stronger on the
Right.
other end. Thank you so much for sharing that and being so open.
Of course. I I think that one of the biggest things that gets smart women into trouble, including us, is that in our academic system, we've been taught so much that result looks a certain way,
Yes, so true.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And result, I mean, like at our program, people come to me because they want to find love.
Mm-hmm.
People come to you because they want to find love. They want to find the person. They want this part of their love life, or this part of their, sorry, life, their love life to be check, done.
Mhm.
And what's so scary about our love life, it does not fit in that box that our academic system taught us. We're dealing with another human being who has a spirit, who has a brain, who has a past, who has their own perspective of life. And life happens, life changes. And I think that there is a misunderstanding in in our upbringing, in our academic system, that our academic system says you start at kindergarten or preschool. I don't have kids, so I think preschool or kindergarten, right? And then you go to 12 years of school, and then if you're lucky enough and you have the means, you go to college. And if you're really good and you're really working hard, you go to get your master's degree, and for many, PhD or several degrees, and then certifications and all that, all because it's teaching us to go through this machine that's wonderful, that we need, that gives us that end result, which is a career that comes with certain amount of dollar amounts, which is very important. I'm all for making money. I love money. There's nothing wrong with wealth if spent wisely. So, but nowhere in our academic system are we taught how to sit with the unknown. From the get-go, we are either in a grading system, especially our generation, the people that you and I work with mostly, we grew up with that grading system. A is good, C is not so good, F, you're screwed. You're right. And now I know there are different ways of doing that, but at the end, you're either good or you're bad. It's very black and white, which is very masculine. You either failed or you succeeded. There's no shade of gray there, right? So your love life doesn't work that way. Your love life only survives the shade of gray, which is living with that feminine energy of being able to be moldable, be movable, changing to, sometimes it's like classical music is playing. So you do classical, moves. And sometimes it's like, pop dance, or sometimes it's like whatever. I don't know. I'm just doing different things. Or sometimes you dance Persian. I don't know. But you got to be able to roll with the punches, because life happens, because your partner might have an illness, or all of a sudden he gets laid off, or he has a change of heart, or you have a change of heart, or what you so much, that box that you were so much holding on to make it work, is not working anymore because it's not authentic. And it crumbles because there's so much you can fake. And none of that has been taught in our academic system. So we have all these wonderful men or women coming out of our academic system and absolutely clueless about how to do their love life. And they try to do it the way we're taught in our academic system. And it's like hitting a wall over and over and over and over. And so you either give up or you settle, or you keep doing the same thing over and over and not get results. So what I'm trying to tell you is your academic education was so important to you, and it is time for every single one of us to stand up and say, you know what? Our love education is so important to us. You got to know how to work with this other side of you. Otherwise, you're just living half of you. The yin, what about the yang? Does this make sense what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. I think, for me personally, that was a huge game changer for my love life and my relationships. When I became a matchmaker, gosh, it's been 11 years ago. I had to learn all of that because I didn't know. I didn't know how to. I was doing the same thing you're describing, hitting that wall over and over, just
Yep.
like we were taught the academic system of relationships, and that just doesn't get you anywhere. So you have to relearn, you have to study. If something's not working, you have to find out what's not working and redo it, recreate
Right.
it. And when I learned that, exactly what you're saying, that's when the magic started happening in my relationship. I started dating higher quality men, eventually led to my husband, and here we are now. So married with a baby on the way. So it definitely does work. Exactly what you're saying. I 100% believe in that. And I'd love to ask you, and one more question too. It's kind
Yeah, go for it.
of what is there like one actionable step that our audience could take today, or even a few actionable steps they could take today to kind of help them step into that feminine energy?
Ooh.
Or we might need a whole other episode.
Right, right, right. I'm thinking, yes, there's steps they can take for sure. I would say the first step is accepting.
Mm,
The very first step is saying, you know what? I'm gonna go educate myself. I'm gonna be that woman. I'm gonna be the first generation, the new generation of women who's gonna go out there and say, you know what? I got my education. I have been educated in this, right? So I think that would be the minimum to do, is to accept that we need to be educated. Now, practical things, yes, of course. You know, I would say, and this is actually in the training that I am making available to the ladies, is that educate yourself about, part of this education is know the characteristics of the men that you're dating. Start learning. Don't go based on your fears. Don't go based on that inner child that's screaming at you based on fear. No, go based on what you actually know. Like, how do I recognize a relationship ready man? What does that look like? And what do I need to do to recognize that? That's where the feminine steps are, which I explain in my training. But for example, you got to learn how to date without attachment to how it's going to work out.
that's good.
The hardest thing for women, and it takes time. And it takes time because we got to heal the feelings of fear that comes up, the anxiety, the I'm afraid of rejection, I'm afraid of being trapped in a relationship, I'm afraid of being disappointed, I'm afraid of being abandoned, I'm afraid of being lied to. We got to get, we got to process those feelings so that we're not operating based on fear, so that you actually can take your time in getting to know the guys. So many times women come to you like, dating just doesn't work. It doesn't work. I've been, men, it's just that they don't, this, we don't have any connection. I'm like, tell me how many dates you've been on. 3? I'm sorry, did you just say 3?
Yeah.
How could you possibly know if this guy is even the guy that he's saying that he is? You're
Right.
not even the woman that you say you are with him, because you guys got to get comfortable with each other. Which, I mean, they're all very connected, which means you got to be vulnerable and you got to show your colors and he got to show his colors, and then see if actually those real colors that are showing up that you're so afraid of, are those the colors that you want to live with for the rest of your life or not? Or at least for a while or not. Whatever your belief system is. So I would say the practical thing is to learn to date without attachment to results. It's a big thing. I wish I, I, I I could just say, go do that right now and things are going to be fine. Um, I guess I'm thinking, you know what, Amanda? I think what that you could do, ladies, I know what to do. I think what you can do is I want you to go to a cafe or a restaurant, right, by yourself. And I want you to just sit there with absolutely no phone. So get this out of the way, right? Because this in itself is I'm busy, I don't have time for you. Ding, 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 masculine energy, right? So to turn it into feminine, I want you to sit at the coffee cafe, have your cafe, and just look at men who come and just smile at them. For the pure reason because you're a kind person and you're just giving the world the gift of your smile. Nothing is going to happen. Nothing bad is going to come out of that. And maybe he'll approach you and say, "Hey, beauty, can we go out?" And you're going to be like, "Oh," but you're going to be like, "Well, thank you, but I appreciate you." And that's it. You don't have to worry. There's nothing you have to worry about. Nobody's going to do anything. You're sitting in a coffee shop. So don't worry like, "Oh, I got to protect myself so the players are not going to." No. You totally have the that you can use the masculine energy to say, "Thank you, but I'm just enjoying the day. I'm so flattered though. Thank you." That's it. But you never know. Maybe the love of your life is going to be that one man who's going to see that smile and be like, "I need to say hi to this woman. I need to see who she is." That's an example of a feminine energy. Does that help better than the
I
esoteric?
love that. Yes.
Yeah.
I think everybody needs to go do that right now. Like either today or tomorrow. I'm challenging you to go do that. Go to a cafe, coffee shop, restaurant, and do that because I'm working with like a lot of men as my clients with a matchmaker. Men are attracted to that. Like they love that openness. A woman that's sitting there smiling. She
Yeah.
looks open. She's not distracted by her phone. She's not with friends. She is just smiling. She looks approachable. I think that's genius. Everybody, I want you to go do that today or tomorrow and then report back to us.
Yes, tell Amanda how it goes. Tell us how it
Yes,
goes.
yes, I
Right.
love
And
that.
you can even go to a park. You can simply
Yes,
go sit in your, front door if you live like somewhere like I do by, busy streets and just smile
yes,
and
that's
consider it your gift to the humanity. So you're on a
absolutely.
mission. So you have that masculine in there.
Yes, that raises your attraction level so much. Just a smile, just that friendly, approachable,
Yeah. 'Cause men are scared.
fun.
Men are scared to approach women.
Yes.
Oh, can you imagine how many times the inner boy in them has been rejected?
Mhm.
I mean, we're so afraid of rejection, but just think for a second, are you willing to do what men do? Come on, you wouldn't.
I know I talk to men sometimes and they're like, they could see the most gorgeous person in the room, but they won't approach that person. They'll
Yes.
approach the woman that has a smile on her face, that looks approachable, her arms are open,
Yes.
she's not distracted. That's the woman they'll go for, like the friendly, approachable woman. So you don't
Yeah,
have to be the most attractive or, put all those fears aside. Just go in
absolutely.
there and be yourself, be authentic.
Humans, all of us, men or women, all of us, we want to be heard, seen,
Mm-hmm.
acknowledged, and respected. That's really our basic needs. Now, that doesn't cost us anything. It's going to make you feel better.
Yes, absolutely. I love this. This is good stuff. And you have a really good free gift for our audience. Would you tell us more about that?
Sure. So it's a little training or guide, free, content available for your education so that you can actually learn what are the four types of men in the dating field who come across as relationship ready, and 3 out of the 4 are not. And I break down what their characteristics are. I also will tell you what is in you that causes you to be attracted to that type so that you can read men better, right? And save your time, And this really came, Amanda, from my experience of, over the span of 11 years, I dated 12 men. No, sorry, over the span of 12 years, I dated 11 men who all cheated on me, including my ex-fiance, not my partner that, we're figuring things out before him. And that's why my partner and I are, working still things out, because he's amazing. He's wonderful. But the ones before, they all cheated on me. And I remember sitting on my kitchen table one day. It was in 2010, and I was studying to become a coach then. And I just learned about the ways that humans show up. And I just dawned on me. It was like, you know, I am the common denominator between all of these men. And that was such a wonderful moment, because I realized right there how much my masculine energy was actually in heaven, because that meant I'm in control. I can figure it out. I don't have to figure out why they cheated on me. Who cares why they cheated on me? Why did I let them in to begin with? What is it about their character? What red flags did I miss? What red flags did I see and pretend that they don't exist? Right? How? And so this training, this was the first thing, the moment I became a love coach, this is the first thing, that I put out there. And you can print it out, or you can, for those of you who like to audio, I know I'm more of an auditory learner, the audio is available to you. And then in there, I also give 3 steps on what you need to do. So once you understand the characters, the 3 steps you need to take so that you can decipher these men from each other.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. That's definitely needed, because I was in the same situation, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Really?
My ex-husband cheated on me, and I had bad relationships, before him. And it dawned on me, I am the common denominator. Why am I picking these men? I think so. I think that's so crucial for all single women. You have to get her free gift because we need that. If you're not with the person that high quality man now, you need to make sure that you're picking the right guys.
And
That's
let's
so
say you're
powerful.
in a relationship and you're like, is he right? Is he not? What?
Mhm.
Study this, because that's hold his actions against what you're learning in this guide and see if that's what's going on.
Yes, absolutely. Well, this is so good. I love this interview, and thank you so much for being with us today and just pouring into our audience.
My
I
pleasure.
hope, make sure, ladies, that you take the challenge that we mentioned before of going out to a cafe or a restaurant and just sitting back, being open and smiling, and get the free gift as well. We're going to put all of the social media links, websites, everything, so you can get connected and continue to learn to date with confidence. So thank you again so much for being with us today.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for asking me to be here and allowing me to share.
Oh, I love it. And we'll make sure you or join the next interview. Sorry, I can't get my words out. Join the next interview. And thank you, ladies, for being with us today. And we wish you a lifetime of love and happiness.
Yes. Mwah.